Command Center Super Bowl is presented by Safeway, the official supermarket of the Washington Commanders. And welcome on in. Julie Donaldson here in Phoenix, Arizona, site of Super Bowl 57. And this is what we call Radio Row. It is where all the action happens leading up to Sunday, where former players and celebrities come and talk to various media outlets throughout the week, including us. As we found one face here in Radio Row, Commanders fans should recognize team president Jason Wight. He's out here visiting with some of the national media outlets talking about the future of the franchise and made some time to stop by our set to tell us what he's been up to. Here it is. Jason, you're here as the team president for the Washington Commanders, but you spent 7 years playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
So what's it like for you experiencing the Super Bowl on this side of the business?
Well, it's actually very interesting here in Arizona because I finished my career here. I played my last 2 years here. And so I'm running into a bunch of people out here that know me mostly as a player. And that's weird to me. Because I sure as hell am not a player anymore. I don't have that body. I don't have that ability. I don't even have that mindset anymore.
I imagine different things hurt this time around.
Correct.
Yeah, like,
correct.
Okay.
My soul hurts on occasion. But yeah, it's very different. It's very different, but it's cool to get back in that mentality. And not a lot has changed.
Look, we came here from the Pro Bowl where Washington had 5 players represented. What does it just say about the franchise, kind of the guys that we're building around? Because they were all captains too.
Yes, I think what you've seen and the caliber of guy we had great performance on the field, and they're natural leaders off of it. All different types, right? Duran as a more quiet leader by example. Someone like Tress, very vocal leader. Jeremy Reeves, very vocal leader. You know, a mix of different leadership styles. And Terry and Jonathan somewhere in between, right? But all of them peak performance and exceptional leaders. And that's the kind of roster that we're building as an organization. And so I think it's a signal that we have a competitive team that is ready to take the next step. And this year, we absolutely have to take that next step. It's an imperative to win this next year.
And a lot of that, of course, is these are the guys, or a lot of them, some of them were around before, but Ron Rivera kind of leading them and leading the charge, and here out at the Super Bowl being honored for a salute to service. And how important that is, not just to him, to his family, but even to the franchise, to being in our nation's capital and representing the military.
It's important. For us, the name Commanders took a ton of inspiration from the military, and not just to be a nod to military and military veterans, which would have been enough in its own right, but the sense of service and mission to a cause bigger than yourself that's implied when you think about military service. And so it's something that we will continue to lean into and that we already had a deep commitment to as an organization, and Ron had out of his personal values and his personal experience. And so it's a very natural thing for him to step up and have that award and to speak at NFL Honors last night. He did a great job introducing what was a very inspirational moment of the football players from Ukraine being there present in the building with us. And it's something that you'll see more and more from us because so many of our fans are tied directly into military service, or they serve one of the tech organizations that supports the military or the nonprofits that support the military. So it's really family for us.
It certainly is. And also part of our family is Doug Williams. He's out here. Look, he was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And now we're talking about 2 black quarterbacks going up, which will just mean it'll be whoever wins is going to be the 4th black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Wow.
It's kind of staggering
wild,
when you do realize that.
Yeah.
What is the significance, though, of what Doug does and what he continues to do and where we're going with the game?
Yeah, we had a saying in my household, or the way my dad and folks of his generation refer to Doug Williams is as black royalty, right? And I think he's DC royalty. He's definitely NFL and football royalty. And I think what Doug does incredibly well is he carries himself with that regal nature. He carries himself with that authority. It's quiet, it's unassuming, but it's powerful. And Doug is not afraid to do 3 things that are really important. One, that's speak truth. Whether that's to me, advising me on how to direct the business, or to the press and the public about the state of black talent in the NFL and how much ground there is still to gain in various aspects. Or it is to our players when he's having the sidebars with them and those mentorship conversations of how to manage their lives and how to maintain peak performance on the field. Doug's a truth teller, and he carries with that authority of a king, that I think is really important for us.
So no matter who wins, be it Pat Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, again, they become the fourth Black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Do you have predictions? Do you get into that?
Yes, in this case. Normally, no.
Okay, give it.
In this case, I want the Eagles to lose by
Correct.
as many points as possible. It makes me
It's the
throw up
only
in my
answer for
mouth
us. Like, we
the
cannot
idea of
handle
them
them
winning
all
this game.
year taking it.
I do not like them, Sam. I am.
Look, we just finished our first year as the Commanders. What is the vision for next year? I know it's already spinning in your head. You've got it laid out.
It's winning.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. You know, we've been an organization in transition for a couple years. We will continue to be an organization in transition into the next one, but we have a solid foundation now. We've built a unified culture across business and football. It spells, our values spell the word fight,
Great.
family, impact, growth, honor, trust, family, the way we treat each other, impact, a focus on winning in the bottom line, growth, an ability to take risks. H is for honor. It means that we revere our past, and T is trust. It's the integrity, the way we deal with people and deal with one another in honesty and truth. Those values are now solid. They're immovable. We have people in the organization now that espouse those values all across the building. Now we have the opportunity to win, absorb the benefits of winning in the business, and move beyond a narrative that doesn't reflect who we are today. And that's going to happen real soon.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
We want those wins because this is where Washington wants to be at the end of the day. Not talking about the teams in the Super Bowl, but in the Super Bowl.
That's
You
right.
get there by winning. Thank
That's
you,
right.
Jason.
Of
We
course,
appreciate it.
Of course, my pleasure.
For more of our coverage here at the Super Bowl, don't miss our flagship show, Command Center. You can see every episode on our YouTube channel and commanders.com. You can also check us out on NBC Sports Washington weekdays at 5 and 10 p.m. Now, don't go away, because when we come back, I have more interviews for you from Radio Row, including some more Commanders talk with running back coach Jennifer King. What was the biggest challenge about her having her own room at the Senior Bowl, and what we can expect from B-Rob next season? Make sure you stick around just 1 minute. Command Center Pro Bowl is presented by Safeway, the official supermarket of the Washington Commanders.
From selecting the perfect produce and triple checking its quality to preparing it for you, we have perfected the art of fresh.
When safe drivers save up to 30% on their auto insurance for not answering their phone while driving, they feel like a pretty big deal.
Steve, did you get the ice?
Even if they forgot the ice. Save up to 30% on auto insurance with USAA Safe Pilot. Get a quote today.
Command Center Super Bowl is presented by Safeway, the official supermarket of the Washington Commanders. Welcome back in. The Phoenix Convention Center is lined with banners from every single Super Bowl. And of course, on Sunday, one more will go up to the rafters. But is it going to be the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles? That is what everybody is out to see. Now, we have been out here on Radio Row all week long, and it's been a scene. During all the madness, I had a chance to sit down with some folks to talk about the game on Sunday and the Commanders, including Washington running backs coach Jennifer King. Jennifer King out here, and she's got quite a busy schedule. Tell us a little bit so far how the offseason is going for you.
I haven't really got to it yet. You know,
I know, right?
Was able to see my family for a little bit, but then I went to Senior Bowl last week, and now I'm here. So I hadn't really got to the off season yet for me.
How was it having your own room at the Senior Bowl?
It was cool. You know, I had the opportunity to experience it last year at the Shrine Bowl, and to lead a room is, it's definitely different. You know, in basketball, we used to say move a chair over, but now, you know, you make that leap to be the boss of your own room, and had a great group of guys. So obviously they're all excited for their upcoming draft potential.
And we've seen you grow each and every year from when you came in here and Ron brought you in as basically one of the first female coaches. What would you say the greatest growth that you've seen in yourself has been over these past, 3 seasons now?
Yeah, it's just I think the continued growth and just knowledge. You know, I work with Randy, and our running backs room, and he always has something for me to learn from, even a saying. I caught myself last week saying one of his sayings in the room, and I laughed to myself.
Which was?
So they were running a little high, had high pad level, and I told them don't be exposed to get hosed. So make sure you drop your pad level down, but just continuing to grow. It's exciting to, we have a new OC position coming open, so just to see what happens, but continue to grow in another offense, it's exciting.
We talked with head coach Ron Rivera about that search and that they're waiting to get other candidates going in. But what is it that you feel this team, knowing the dynamic players that you have, what is it that you need to be able to get this offense going where it needs to be successful?
We have so many playmakers. I think, from a skill position point, we're as talented as anybody in the league. So I think just, obviously being able to get them the ball, any way you can to make them, allow them to do what they do best and, make plays in space. So I'm excited, to see what happens and, just wait and see now.
We see Brian Robinson is around here at the Super Bowl as well. The year that he had is just a testament to the kind of player that he is, the heart that he has, the dedication. But with the full off season and really coming back in, how great can he be?
As good as he want to be. I think the second year is always probably that biggest jump from first year to second year because you've experienced it, you know how things are, you know how the schedule will be, you know what it takes to play in the NFL. So the way he bounced back this year and the level that he played, I'm super excited for year 2 with the full offseason.
And what did you see in the way his game kind of complements that of Gibson?
Yeah, it's almost like a little thunder and lightning action going on. I think they play off of each other well. And I think the most important thing is that they love doing it. It's not like a dominant guy in our room. They love, playing off of each other. Because sometimes, B-Rob may be like, let AG get this one. Or AG may be like, let B-Rob get this one. Because they just want what's best for the team. And they both bring so many different attributes that make us good.
So you're out here at the Super Bowl. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to participating in.
Yeah, this is kind of a little mini vacation for me. So just to see some old friends and participate in a few events. And I get to do a camp tomorrow with Nike, so I'm super excited about that.
Do you have a prediction for the game?
I really don't even care. Like, I know I have friends.
We're not there. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I have friends with the Eagles, so obviously, I wouldn't mind them winning, but I also have friends with the Chiefs as well. And then, if the Eagles win, you got to deal with everything next year. It's just a lot. So
I think that's the overwhelming feeling from everybody. If the Eagles win, it's going to be nonstop having to hear it all year long.
Absolutely.
And I just don't know that we can handle that.
And then it makes you sad because we beat them, what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that you can
Coach King, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Sam Monson of Pro Football Focus joins us now. Okay, Sam, Washington coming off the Pro Bowl where they sent 5 players. What does that kind of say about the foundation of the guys that they're building around?
I think for a couple of years now, the overall health of the franchise, of the roster, has been in a pretty good place. Obviously, the thing that's been kind of holding them back has been trying to get that quarterback position right. And I actually like, from a process standpoint, quite a lot of the swings they've taken at quarterback, and it just hasn't quite managed to work out for them. So I think the fact that they've been able to send those guys to the Pro Bowl, it shows that they have a lot of talent on this team.
So you had 2 guys from the interior line. Of course, we'll wait and see what happens with Daron Payne as well. A couple guys off of special teams. And then, of course, Terry McLaurin making his first Pro Bowl appearance. But you look into the offseason, going into the combine, the draft, free agency. Where would you say is the greatest need for this team?
I think you definitely need to keep swinging and make sure you get that quarterback position right. I know they're talking about Sam Howell potentially being the guy, and there were the reports that they were letting offensive coordinator candidates know that Sam Howell will be the guy going forward. I don't know if we've seen enough from him to be that confident that they can do that. They maybe still need to add a quarterback to this group. Outside of that, though, I think you need to keep making sure that defense stays reinforced and, backfill the potential losses that you're going to have in an offseason and keep adding additions to that secondary where today's league is all about passing. So you need the quarterback, you need receivers, and they're in a really good spot then. And then you need guys that can stop the pass on the other end, and they've got a good defensive front. They've got guys that can rush the passer, so you need to make sure you have the back end capable of stopping the pass.
Obviously the team did not live up to the potential and the expectations that they had of making it into the postseason. But when you look back on the year, is there anything that you would say, hey, that might have been like the biggest surprise of the year?
I mean, I think generally, again, the quarterback situation that they've had, I like the chances that they've taken. I think you can see why they made each one of those moves, from Ryan Fitzpatrick to rolling with Taylor Heineke to bringing in Carson Wentz. I think they've made a lot of sense, and they just haven't been able to work out. I think they've been unfortunate, really, to catch the kind of low end of all of those guys, whether it was injuries for Fitzpatrick or just a Taylor Heineke that never quite stepped in and repeated the trick that he did in the playoffs against Tom Brady, where he looked incredible. So I think the surprise is really just that they've been unlucky so many times in a row at that spot.
16th overall, same place in the draft where they moved back to get Jahan Dotson. Is a player there at that spot that they want, or do you see them potentially making a trade, making a move there?
I think that's a good spot in this draft in terms of value for the kind of positions they're going to be looking at. So we talked about corner. I think that's going to be the area where we might see a run on those first-round corners. I don't think any of those guys are going to get pushed up into the top 10. I don't think there's a Sauce Gardner kind of corner in this draft. They're going to start going off the board in the middle of that first round. So if corner is a position they're identifying, I think that's the kind of right spot to target that position. I think there's a couple of areas of need. I think you're kind of sitting there for not true best player available. You know, they probably stick to those couple of positions, but it's the right area of value for those positions.
So we're out here because it's the Super Bowl on Radio Row, where it's always a bit of a madhouse. When you do look at the Eagles and the Chiefs, what do you like in the matchup?
I like everything about this matchup. I think we've got the two best teams in the NFL, the best team from the NFC, the best team from the AFC. That's the theory, right? That's why this game exists. The championship game between those two conferences doesn't always end up that way. So I think just to start with getting the best team from each conference is a great starting point. And then I really love so many of the kind of individual or facet matchups. That Eagles offensive line, though, the best in the NFL, going up against a guy as good as Chris Jones on the defensive line for Kansas City, I think that has the potential to be really fun.
It's going to be an exciting game for sure come Sunday. We appreciate your time.
No
Pro
problem.
Football Focus, Sam
Thanks for
Monson.
having me.
Of course, everybody's excited for the big game tomorrow, and here's a look at the matchup. It'll be a battle of the league's top offenses led by two MVP-caliber quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs enter the big game leading the league in both points per game and total yards a game. Meanwhile, the Eagles have the edge in the run game behind the legs of Hurts and running back Miles Sanders. Things are starting to wrap up here on Radio Row, which means we're getting that much closer to see who's going to win Super Bowl 57. We hope you've enjoyed all of our streams. We have one more coming ahead of the big day. Make sure you tune in to our website, commanders.com, and our YouTube channel. I'm Julie Donaldson. We'll see you tomorrow.